but I'm too tall for this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I've got Jesse from Eldest Builds is here like I promised last week. Now last week we did a will it run on this car and it was a champ and actually fired right up, which was really nice. Now I did say also in that video that we're going to be doing an automatic swap into this car. Now it is currently a standard, but we're making it an automatic. So the owner of this car actually was here when he delivered this car. And he gave us a little bit of backstory and I recorded that. So I'm gonna show you guys really quick the little walk around he gave us and some of the history behind the car. I'm gonna show Jesse what we're working with. And in the meantime, we're gonna look at the car, probably pull the hood off, and pull out a couple other tools that we're gonna need while you guys check that out. And we are with Bob and his 1980 Fiat 124. This is the one that I've been telling you guys for a little while now since the Big Auto open house that we're gonna be doing the automatic swap into his car. Now currently it's a standard, it's got the stock 5-speed, but with the help of our local Fiat group, Vic Auto, and some other people across the country, we're going to be able to make this happen for Bob. So Bob, why don't you tell us about your 1980 and why you need it in automatic?
Well, my 1980 is one of my carryover cars from when I was a kid. When I was in college, my favorite car was a 124 Spider.
Okay.
And that goes back to the 60s. Being 80 years old now and having a hip replacement, it's hard shifting.
Yeah, that clutch will get you.
And so now that's why I needed to have it swung over to be an automatic.
An automatic. So what are you going to do with it now that it's going to be an automatic?
Once it's an automatic, I'm going to make a cross-country tour in it.
A cross-country tour. So what is your plan? Are you going to go east or west first?
I'm going to go, well, actually it's going to be an eastern tour. I'm going to go back and visit some of the towns I've lived in.
Okay.
Till I got this age.
Okay, so you're going to backtrack your life.
I'm going to go back to Kansas, Oklahoma, New York, Connecticut.
That's going to be
Ohio.
quite the drive.
I'll go see my brother-in-law and some friends down on the East Coast in
the
Carolinas.
That's great.
Georgia, Florida, and then back.
So you're kind of going up and around.
Yep.
And back through.
Like a big loop.
That's going to be awesome. So yeah, we're going to be doing this automatic swap for him. So he's going to give us a quick tour of his car and the state it is now. Now we do have all the parts here ready to go, but he's going to give us a tour of some of the stuff that he's already done to it, what still needs to be done to it, and what other goodies he brought with us. So let's take a look.
Yeah, let's do that. One of the first things I had performed in this car was to get new floor pans.
New floor pans. All right, so we'll start on the inside. So when you got it, were the floors all rusty already?
They were pretty rusty, and it was kind of strange in that it was a California car.
Interesting. So all new floor pans. What was after that?
I had a whole new front end put on it.
Like body-wise or mechanical?
Mechanical stuff.
Oh, okay.
Had all the suspension fixed up on it.
All new suspension, nice. That's a really good upgrade.
And following that suspension upgrade, got these.
So tell us about these. You told me off camera that you painted these yourself.
Yeah, I did. Those Roosevelt wheels. I fell in love with those things looking at them on something, and had to have them, and I found a set, and I bought them.
Yeah, not very often I see those. You see the aftermarket ones or stock style, but I've never seen this style before.
The thing that really kind of got me on this, I wanted to keep 13-inch wheels.
Yeah, a lot of people go up to the 15, like that's what I did on mine.
And so I've still got the 13s. What else is good?
Mechanical, what'd you do under the hood, the important part? So it is a fuel injected?
Fuel
looks
injected.
Pretty stock. Any upgrades on this, or just
no,
as it came?
Just as it came.
Yeah, it looks, my shadow doesn't ruin it here. Yeah, looks like, so you did tell me you tried to do a booster and master cylinder.
Couldn't do it.
Oh, yeah, it's a little tight on that one. You have to take off the intake.
Is there anything you can do with the fuel injection on this thing? You have to cut that, or what do you do?
No, a lot of it comes apart. There's a lot of the clamps like this. This is the old style here, but a lot of them unscrew and can be taken off. So that all comes off as one piece.
Okay.
Yeah, but definitely stock on the inside. Oh, you said you got a new top.
Oh yeah, I put a new top on it.
That's a very nice top. Very nice top on there. How old is this?
That's probably 5 years. I got
5 years
that I've kept all of this stuff.
Oh, you've got a book.
Yeah.
Oh man, you need to hold on to that forever. Yeah, having a book with all the stuff you've done to it is awesome. Awesome, awesome. And I love this blue. I think I told you that when it first got dropped off here, that this blue is awesome. I'm used to my black, and so seeing other colors is pretty exciting.
I like this blue as well.
Yeah, it's different. It's nice. I think this is the same color that Jesse did on his 79 that he worked on. Is the same kind of blue. So like I said, a lot of people did contribute into making this happen for Bob, and so he's trying to make this trip before it all, as he says, what do you say, kick the can?
Kick the can.
Before he kicks the can, as he says. So we're trying to make this happen for him. And a lot of people chipped in on the Facebook groups, on my pages, on Jesse's pages, and Vic Autosports reached out to fill in the gaps where we're missing stuff, which we're super, super grateful for. So let's go take a look at some of these parts and the transmission we're going to put in for him, and take a look at everything as it all comes together.
Yay!
So the most important part that we got you was the automatic transmission, which is going to be right down here. And just yesterday I had taken this apart, all new seals, new filter, all the ATF is drained out of it. It is nice and clean, ready to go. And that, the only thing we need for that is a transmission oil cooler. Not a big deal, there's a lot of those that'll fit. We've also got the pedal box, the new pedal box that took care of that as well. Give it a nice new color of black. The shifter cover and a lot of smaller pieces, electronic pieces, the transmission tunnel cover. We also have the torque converter. We've got the flywheel, and the drive shaft is over there. We're going to refab that with some parts from Vic's, which we're super grateful for. And then we've also got, over here on the bench, is the shifter. We've got the dipstick for the transmission as well, and the remnants of that ATF and the rebuild kit. So fun fact, oh, we're going to go this way. I didn't know this at the time, and you know, Bob, I don't know if you know this either. It's a tight squeeze with the bus in here. But the transmission that Fiat used was actually the GM transmission.
TH180.
The TH180. See, he knows this and I don't even know that. But yeah, the TH180. And so I did some reading on it. It was the same one they used in the Chevette.
Yes.
That's why it's so small, and that's why it works in this. I think they even use them in BMWs and like the postal carrier cars, I think.
Okay.
I think. That's a guess. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, that's super awesome. I'm so glad you knew that because I had no idea. But it's a GM, so parts are going to be readily available too in case we need them, which is great. So we have lots of work to do ahead of us. This is kind of a day of pickup, so we're going to be flashing back to this for you guys. But Jesse is coming from Eldest Builds to help us work on this. And like I said, Vic is going to be filling in the gaps where we're missing stuff. And we're going to knock this out in a whole weekend. So he dropped it off. It is not running and driving, correct? It's not running. Did it run at one point?
Yes.
Was it ran when it was parked?
Yes.
Key phrase, ran when parked. So we will get this thing running again as well. And I know there's some few things that you're missing, which I still have extras from my fuel injection. So we'll fill in the gaps on those as well. So we're going to get back to live where you guys are now. And we're going to get started on this. Let's have a good time. And we'll see Bob when it's all done. And hopefully the plan is that we're going to drive this thing down to you and drop it off when it's all done. Which is about an hour from me. I think it's for about an hour, right?
It's just about an hour.
Yeah, just about an hour. So our ultimate goal is to drive this back to you with an automatic. And I've never driven an automatic 124, and I'm going to do it because I want to do it. So
sounds like a plan.
Let's get started.
Yay! Let's get started.
All right, so hood is off, and you saw a little bit of the backstory. So we're 8 bolts in, and we've already had to cut one off, basically. So this is going swimmingly well. We're going to be time-lapsing a lot of this because it's very labor-intensive and we're on a tight time crunch for the weekend. So what we're going to be doing is pulling the engine. We're going to have to go inside and take off the shifter mechanism from underneath. So we're going to have to lift it up, undo all the bottom parts. I've already taken care of all the front electrical and all that stuff. Batteries disconnected. So I'm going to take apart the drive shaft off the transmission mounts, motor mounts from the underside, get it all loose. We're going to pull it, clean it, remate the transmission with the automatic, stab it back in, remount everything.
So 30 minutes.
Yep, not a big deal at all.
30 minutes.
30 minutes. We got this. So we've got updates. Everything is disconnected. We've got the transmission disconnected, drive shaft, clutch cable, speedo cable. The ground strap to the transmission. We even took out the center steering link so we could clear that because we will hit that. And then motor mounts are disconnected. All the electrical and all the coolant hoses are already out of it. I did not drain all the coolant out of the block or the oil. The oil's still in it, so I don't know if we probably don't need to pull the oil. Coolant will fall all over the place, but I've got floor dry, so I'm not worried about that. Really, FedEx guy? Really? Oh, not even FedEx.
Cowboy.
Cowboy in the city. Anyway, we're getting ready to pull it. We're going to drop it here, and we're getting ready to pull this engine. Everything is disconnected. We did a double, triple, quadruple check, and Jesse put his stamp of approval on it. So we're going to bring it down and get ready to pull this.
Of course, there's probably something we forgot.
Oh, of course there is. Always. Always one thing.
Some aftermarket add-on.
Typical Fiat things. All right, it is water break time. One very important thing we forgot to disassemble was the exhaust. So we fought with that, but luckily none of the studs broke.
We didn't break it.
It's because they're so coated in oil.
That's right.
It was self-protecting.
They can't rust because of all the oil.
We're all set to go. We've got chain attached to the distributor. It's gonna be a little messy, but they're so coolant in the block. But we've got floor dry and power washer and all this good stuff. But everything is officially disconnected. So let's get ready to pull it. The engine is out and it is a oily, greasy, horrible mess. So it's got the original paint on it, which is nice, but you can see all the oil just leaking out of this thing all over the back here. They had a block heater for some reason. These are actually, I don't know if you knew this, but these studs actually go all the way into the oil. So if these studs aren't here, you're gonna leak pretty bad. So that may be a part of the leak too.
Gotta keep them in.
Yep.
Hey, come check out this shock top.
Shock top?
Yeah.
Holy moly, look at the corrosion. What are we looking at?
Right there.
Oh, that's fine.
It's because they dropped it right here.
Oh yeah, there's the washer right there.
Yeah.
But where's the rubber? There's supposed to be a rubber grommet on top.
Oh yeah, but you couldn't use the rubber because you didn't have the washer, so, you know, just...
We're gonna have to figure something out for that.
Solid mount.
Yeah, because that one's right.
Yep.
It's got the rubber in between there. This one does not. So this probably rides like garbage. And this is oily, greasy. Just look at all of it. Just caked on there. Actually, I've seen worse cross members. Mine was pretty bad. It was like an inch layer of grease and dirt. And
Could always be worse.
look at all this corrosion from the brake master.
Because they leak.
Holy moly. And we did pretty good. Didn't even dent the front.
We undented it.
And we didn't dent the trans tunnel.
We
like
undented the front.
It's like we've done this a time or
We
two.
restored it to original.
Yeah, restored it. Anyway, now that it's all out, It's time to power wash all this. We have a couple gaskets that I ordered to replace on this, so like specifically on the back cam towers. I have the gaskets for those. We have new valve cover gaskets as well because those leak pretty bad. And I just want to get all the grime off of all this before we do any reassembly of moving the transmission over to the automatic. So we're going to clean our stuff, kind of tools, and get working again and laugh at more of this custom. Oh, there's that washer.
That's all you had to do.
That's fine.
If you just would have done that, you wouldn't have had to monkeyfy it.
Yeah, so we're gonna see what we can do about that. I have no idea if his heater works, so we're gonna plug it in like he had it. I didn't have any leaks when I was running it, so the heater core must be okay.
Man.
Oh wait, it was bypassed, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'd Texas it, not, I wouldn't even hook it up.
All right, we're bypassing it. I forgot that was totally bypassed, so we're not gonna do that.
You get enough trans heat to keep you warm anyway, so.
Yeah, I highly doubt.
I don't know.
I highly doubt underneath all that carpeting and padding, and he said he had floor pads replaced in this, and I doubt they put any sort of heat resistant stuff in that trans tunnel. So anyway, let's get this stuff cleaned up. We're gonna power wash, get some more time-lapse stuff, just kind of see what's going on, and then we'll start mating up the new transmission once everything kind of dries, put some new gaskets on it, clean it all up, all that good stuff. We still have to do the pedal box underneath to switch it from the automatic, from the clutch. So we're gonna have just a big brake pedal besides a clutch and a brake. So a lot more still to do. So let's keep time-lapsing, keep cleaning up, and keep this thing moving. All right, so it's been a while. It's probably about 3:30, I want to say. But we've made a lot of progress. We've cleaned the engine, got it nice and clean. We've gotten the starter off, done a good clean of everything here. That degreaser did a great job on this.
Why'd you take the starter off? We're changing the transmission.
The starter goes on it.
What? You just leave the starter on there.
It's bolted to the transmission.
Oh, there's not a starter on the new transmission?
No.
Oh.
Are you sure you've done a Fiat before?
No.
Anyway, we cleaned it up. All new seals on there, as many as we could get. New water pump, new tensioner bearing, new timing belt. The water tee on top, we flipped it the right way so we can actually bleed it correctly. Cleaned up the valve covers all down the galley here. All new valve cover gaskets. The rear cam box gaskets are new. We cleaned up the intake here, and we're getting ready to separate these two. But we've been tackling some electrical stuff, which is no surprise for a Fiat. And there's all sorts of tape and questionable wiring. So some stuff that's unnecessarily wrong, and somebody tapped into the wiring for the fan
To run
something
the
else.
washer, window washer pump.
That's right. So they use that to do the washer fluid, and then took a different wire from the coil, ran it along with like 3 butt connectors, and hot wired it to constantly run the fan.
Yeah.
Rather than using the proper wiring. So.
And then they put duct tape on everything.
Yeah, there was duct tape and sticky, nasty goo. That's what he's cleaning off right now. Is soldered and used heat shrink properly, but then they just stuck duct tape on top of it, and it got all nasty, melty, gross. Same thing with that little protector cover on top of the coil, covered in duct tape. It was horrible. So we've degreased all this, sprayed this all clean. I think this is mostly ready to go. I need to grab my old harness and take a couple of the metal connectors that are missing for the injectors on there. And then I think the rest of this is pretty good to go. We just got to swap this. And I think...
So 30 more minutes?
Yeah, that's what we said 30 minutes ago.
30 more minutes, and then we're done.
Yeah, only 30 more. Oh, the shocks.
Oh, yeah.
So, the shocks didn't have enough thread out of the top. So somebody had redone these shocks, and it was atrocious. And it was missing the top bushings, like the rubber thick bushings for the shocks, and it wasn't wanting to come through right. So I took it off of the bottom and pulled it out from underneath, and the bushings were double stacked on top of the shocks from the underside, which is a nut on top. And so that's why the shocks on this were absolutely horrible, because they weren't installed correctly at all. So we've since corrected that. We've got the bushing with the large washer and the nuts on top on both sides. So now it responds like it should. So we're just finding some more good stuff about all this, but I think it's almost time to swap out transmissions after we finish these little bit of electrical stuff, plugging it in correctly and putting it in the right spot, cleaning up some grounds.
Falling.
And falling. So we're gonna keep going. Jesse, I think we're dead.
Ha!
We were absolutely exhausted.
Almost exhausted.
But we've got a lot of updates for you. The sun is, you know, going down on us. But I think what we're gonna do is our ultimate goal is to get the engine and transmission stabbed in the car and mounted, and then call it a day and move on to a day 2 of this project. But we've got the automatic transmission mated with the flex plate, and the torque converter are installed. The new flex joint is on it as well. Did a lot of cleaning up of this engine. It looks so much better, and a few touch-ups with some other stuff. But we took off those metal covers. They're really hard to work with, and they just get in the way of a lot of stuff. New timing belt, new tensioner, new water pump. We're gonna do an oil change on it when we reinstall it. We're gonna add some fresh ATF as well. The torque converter is full. The engine bay is full. See, I'm getting delirious.
Yeah.
Was cleaned, and our new brake booster is installed. That's the one that he was originally trying to get installed and had some issues with. So that's roughly in there just to get it up out of the way. The master cylinder is new. We got that painted so it won't just flash rust. He's setting up his camera.
We should put the master cylinder on before we put the motor in.
See, there you go, having good ideas again.
Because it'll, that plume's going to be in the way.
Oh, yeah. The FI intake is not very generous.
We should put that on first.
Okay.
It's dry.
It's dry, yeah. So we're going to install that. Then stab the engine in. But we did put some fresh paint on some of these areas that were starting to thin through on the paint. Some of the fading away where the brake fluid ate some of the paint, showing it through, flash rusted. We sprayed it and treated that with some Rust-Oleum and rust preventative stuff. We've also got...
Still filthy. Every time I touch it, I get dirty.
On what?
The car!
Fiat things.
I just touched it, I got dirty.
But...
Where are the bolts for this?
we're making it happen. I think they're in the box that he left us.
Okay.
We've got stuff everywhere, but we're gonna install this thing. So, let's do it. Well, it's day 2 and Jesse is back. We left probably around 10:30, 11 o'clock last night. It was pitch black out here. You weren't gonna be able to see anything anyway. But we've got the linkage attached. We've got the trans lines ran. We've got the vacuum actuator line attached. We've got the motor. We still have to do the motor mounts, attach those. We've got the transmission mount assembled and together. So that's installed, like hard to install. And then we've got, still do the drive shaft, which we're gonna do now. I'm working on the pedal box. I already took it out off camera, so I'm gonna reinstall the new one and for the automatic. And we installed the shifter as part of the linkage. What else did we do?
So much.
So much.
So much.
I think that's an understatement. So the reassembly is today. I am fully confident. I'm gonna knock on wood. Knock on wood that today's gonna be the day. So, Jesse brought over some stuff that the day for dropping it and putting it in gear.
Really?
Oh yeah. So I put it up all 4 off the ground. So that way when it's all put together, we'll fire it up. It will fire up. And we'll put it in gear and we'll watch the tires spin.
Right?
And then have a nice cold soda to celebrate.
Nice cold soda.
Yeah. Get that caffeine pumping. And then yeah, I went and picked those up at the store this morning. Much better than the Rusty.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting distracted. So we're gonna start installing the rest of the stuff. He's gonna do drive shaft. I'm gonna do the pedal box and put the dash back together. And I might chase down the dash lights to get rid of that awful red LED thing that he had, and try and get those working for the guy, because those are just awful, absolutely awful. There's some wiring back there that is not good at all.
It's illegal in 49 states.
Except for Hawaii. It's not illegal
Texas.
there. In Texas, apparently it's not illegal.
Passes inspection in Texas.
It does, so anyway, lots of work today. It is, what, 9:30 probably? Sure, we're gonna go with that. 9:30, let's get to work. So it's day 3. Yesterday we didn't get a whole lot of footage, but we're dealing with all the little stuff that's annoying, really hard to record and get taken care of. So everything is back to where it should be. We've got all of our components for the engine reattached. Our cooling system is filled and bled. We did all the brakes, so all the brakes are bled. New hoses where we need those. All his dash lights work again. The fuel gauge works again. What else?
New transmission.
Oh yeah, that's kind of a big thing, a new transmission. And the shift linkage is all good. We got that squared away. We had a little bit of hiccups there with stuff loosening up, but we fixed it. And then
wired in the fan.
on the fan.
New bottle, new distributor, new wires,
Yep.
new transmission,
Drive shaft carrier bearing.
drive shaft carrier bearing.
A lot is what we're trying to say. A lot is done. There's so much we just couldn't remember it all.
In
so,
3 days.
And two technically. We barely touched it this morning. So what we're gonna do now, yeah, barely. We set our initial timing, like 10, 12 degrees. Set our initial timing and our distributor is stabbed in. We're gonna fire it up, and if we get good fire off on there, we're gonna put it into gear and see if we can get this thing to move under automatic transmission power for the very first time. So let's get things set up and see if we can get this car rolling.
Did you not check that yet?
What?
If it was gonna roll? I guess not, we just put it down.
A few moments later.
First test, automatic transmission install, take 1. Car's running. Straighten the wheel. Turn your wheels this way, just a little. Put it in drive. It's going. Stopping! I'll brake it. Okay? Kind of braking. Off to the foot. You need a spring?
On the brake. It's on the brake.
Goes forward and back.
Alright, so we took it on a test drive. The fan kicked on just like it's supposed to, so we're letting that cool down now. And Jesse is all done here. We put in, what, probably 30, 35 hours?
30, 35. Let's just go round it up to 40.
So we'll just say 40 hours in the past 2 days.
Yeah.
3 days now.
Yeah, but
3
you have
days.
to times that times 2.
Yeah.
So 80 hours in the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An easy 80 hours.
You can't do it in a weekend.
No. I thought we could, but Jesse said I was crazy.
It takes 3 days.
It does take 3. 2.5.
Really, it's going to take 4.
Yeah, and that's not, if you didn't know what you had to do and what to switch and where stuff went, and I mean, we were kind of doing it as we went a little bit, but we were very familiar with the car, which made it a lot easier.
There's no YouTube videos available till now.
That's right, so you're welcome. But again, it's a lot of time lapse, but Jesse's gonna get out of here. He's all packed up. I'm gonna give this car a wash, and I'm actually gonna drive it down to the owner. It's only about 45 minutes to an hour away from here is what I wanna say. So we're gonna let stuff cool off. I'm gonna shower, because I am a hot mess, and gather up all the stuff to take it back to the owner. But Jesse's out of here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Would not have been possible without him being here. And we were up till what, 10:30, 11. I mean, both nights.
Yeah.
Starting at 9 a.m.
9 to 11.
Yeah, and we felt it by the end of the day. Went through tons and tons of water and lunches and snacks and all sorts of stuff. So.
And energy drinks.
Oh, energy drinks are the only way you get through this. So, awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So let's start washing this thing. He's gonna go home so he can shower. And then we'll be able to take this back to the owner and see how he feels about it and his reactions.
Hopefully he likes it.
Oh, you better.
It's drivable.
Yeah, it is drivable.
Many hours later.
All right, guys, so we are in the car. It's been a couple hours since that last clip when Jesse left. Got some food, showered, much needed shower. But we did not show you the video of us driving around in this thing when we did our first test drive around the block, and it actually runs really well, and I actually really like the automatic version of this, honestly. And it's something that I may want for myself in the future, but don't hate me for that, by the way. It's just easy to drive, is what I'm saying. So we're gonna fire this thing up. We're gonna take it back to the owner and to get his reaction. I am just absolutely exhausted. And I know Jesse is too. Jesse was putting in a lot of work. And this was definitely not possible without him. So let's fire it up. It's been a couple hours. Fires.
Okay, but would I
turn on the radio? So radio works, fires right up. So let's get moving here. Let's reverse. It's kind of nice not having to worry about shifting. And drive. That's drive. Oh, no power steering. All right. So we're in first. Second. Oh, there was third. So we've got all 3 of our gears, and our lights work, blinkers work, fantastic, and our brakes, you hear downshift, feel great. So let's take our little drive down, let this thing warm up, do some more cycles, and be all set to go. Man, I'm excited to see his reaction. He sounded excited on the phone when I told him I'm on the way down, so we'll see how he feels when he sees it.
1 hour later.
So we're driving. What do you think?
Works for me, man. I get those. Have you get those wheels, those wheel bearings put in before I
Yeah,
take
wheel
that,
bearings.
take
Oh,
that
yes.
Take that long trip.
Yes, definitely. Highly recommended.
When we're driving back and forth to church and choir practice.
Oh, okay.
At night. And then some of the guys at church, we'd have, the older guys at least, we had breakfast on Wednesday mornings, and we're driving to those breakfast meetings.
Oh, okay. I had to twist his arm to drive this thing. He was like, no, I believe you. Didn't even want to drive it. I said, for all the work that Jesse and I just did, you better go drive this thing. So we're going around the block.
This is sweet.
It's super easy to drive.
It is. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't believe how much work you guys put into this thing in such a short period of time. You only handled this thing like 3 days.
Yeah, you dropped it off that Monday or Tuesday, and I did a lot of work doing prep work.
Yeah.
And then Jesse showed up Friday morning at 9 o'clock, and we started pulling stuff, disconnecting the last bits of stuff, pulling the hood.
And the temperature of this thing stays like at 100.
Yep, that's perfect. Yeah, 190 right there in the top of the middle, and anywhere around the logo between the 1 and the 0 is perfectly normal. Brakes work.
They do. They work real well.